Welcome back once again, everybody. I hope you're ready for some more Polaris action because I certainly am. We just saw Heat Gaming take their first map against Hukars on Heat Gaming's map pick. And it's now time for Hukars' map pick, and they have picked Bind to come up against this team on. Now, Hukars, they still have this flawless record. They still want to keep this alive. They're going to have to pull off a reverse sweep to do this. Do you think it is on the cards, Moxie?
Well, I mean, you seem to think we're going to be going to the full free map distance. I'm a little bit more on the fence. I've been looking at what compositions both of these teams like to run. Heat do like running the Raze and the Sage over onto Bind. Hukars, on the other hand, they like to keep that Chamber in the mix. Interestingly, both of these teams do still like to run that Viper. Viper we've seen come through a couple of nerfs in the past patches. Now you can't quite as effectively cycle for your utility and have it constantly being up. What you can still do though is go for those very painful setups. If you're able to get onto that A site, you're attacking, the spike goes down onto default, you can just hold back in lobby with those two snake bites and cycle through those to make sure the defuse does not come through.
Yeah, I mean, I think Bind is really the map where you can just play for time everywhere. It's not a classic map where you have 3 lanes. It's not even like Haven, where it's completely deviating from the whole tactical FPS standard. It is 2 lanes, or 4, I guess you could call it, in that there's a mid for both sites, or a short for both sites. And then you've obviously got showers, and you've got long as well for A. And it's a weird one, because you really can just pick that Raze, which is obviously the duelist that is generally picked for Bind, and just cycle through utility along with your controller, along with your Viper, which is also a pretty common pick on Bind, and just kind of keep people at bay on the defense. And you have to really think about what you're doing on that attack, because, you know, you have to make sure that people aren't flanking. There are a lot of tight corners where, you know, you can get away with moving up the map as the defense. So I think really, usually the onus is on that attacking side on Bind to make sure that you're really forcing your way through the rounds and not just kind of sitting back and waiting for the defense to do what they want to do, because it's very easy to let the defense get carried away with that and just let that kind of run away from you. So I'm interested to see how these guys combat that while still integrating new kind of scraps, because we've seen this map a lot from these two teams, and you know, you once you play in a league with a specific team for a while, you learn their scraps and you learn what they get to do, and you get a bit complacent, I think.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be a problem, the one that you talked about with, like, a lot of these teams on the attacking side, they do struggle with letting the defense dictate a little bit too much of the tempo. It's going to be a problem that affects Hukars a lot more than it affects Heat if we don't really see a big swap in terms of those agent picks coming on through, because for Heat, they run the Sage, they run the Raze. So one play that you do with the Sage when you're attacking is you just brute force your way onto the C site, you barge through showers, you drop the Sage wall in the corner, spike goes down behind it, making sure that you're not actually impressed. So the spike goes down the second that the round starts, pretty much. And then even though there is still a defending side up and active and around you, you then just pull back into showers, set up a crossfire, and make it absolutely impossible for that defense to be able to survive when the Sage wall breaks. And that is something that's going to be there for Heat if they come in with those duos of the Raze and the Sage. It's not something that Hukars have historically leaned into. Instead, they've liked to run the Chamber to go for those very sort of more...
We're not just getting a Fade, we're getting a Yoru as well from Heat. This is the most interesting comp I've seen for a while. Obviously, you expect a Brimstone. You maybe expect a Breach, you definitely expect a Raze. You don't expect a Yoru and a Fade?
I said this to you, right, when we were in the break and we were talking about compositions we could potentially see. I said, we're going to Bind. Fade can still be strong on Bind, and even though he don't normally run Fade on Bind, just having seen how much chaos it put into the heads of Hukars on that last map, Monstrum is coming out on the Fade, Remo is coming out on the Yoru, Kinyu is going to stick on the Raze. They don't need a Sage Wall to keep this spike safe. They're just gonna power it with aggression. If Hukars try and stop the spike from going down at the start of this round, they're going to run into a demolition derby.
I mean, Hukars are definitely playing the 2022 comp. Heat are they're in 2032, easily at least. I don't know what's going on there. These guys are well ahead of the times right now. They're running something I would call that experimental. I think is what you would call
I
that
call
kind
this
of comp.
the run and gun.
Yeah,
Not only
I
do
mean-
they have the Yoru, it's only really missing the neon for it to just be
Yeah,
the
exactly.
zoom. Right? Because
Yeah.
you're gonna have the stim beacon that Eccles can drop to allow Heat to just at the snap of her fingers be able to cross these distances and pressure Hukars, and they are going to be on the defense first of all, but you still have to worry if you're Hukars about how fast this defense can get on top of you.
Well, Hukars are going to be starting on the attack, and they're running the kind of classic comp here. Monstrum is going to have to get all the way out. That did a lot of damage. Monstrum back to 45 HP, and they are not running a normal comp. They do not have either a Sage or a or an Ashe to be able to get that heal up. Why did I forget the name of Ashe? Really? Out of everybody? What am I doing? Okay, you know what? I said this yesterday. My brain turned to mush in like the final couple of maps of a broadcast. Ashe. Really? There's nobody called Ashe. Why did I even... Okay, you know what? We're going to move
She
past
looks
that.
like an Ashe, you know? The
She
hair
does,
is red,
right?
it's like fire, I get it.
Yeah, actually that makes sense. You've explained it to me. Well, shots going either way. Monstrum says good morning and gets a couple of kills with the shorty. David has that headhunter in hand, but needs to do more work than that. 2 more players left to get rid of, and they are right around. Oh, just about misses. Shoots Eccles in the collarbone, but that's not quite enough to get the kill with that headhunter. Heat come away with their first round.
Oh, and this is where it
Against
gets
the Ashe.
dangerous. You're just gonna try and make this a thing now.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's her canonical name now. Unlucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forget about people trying to figure out all of these like names of Fade or Omen. Nah, Sky.
Yeah, but that's spelled A-Z-H. That's how that's spelled, okay?
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
She's a bit edgy. You know, her parents were... Well, I mean, look, she's an environmentalist. Her parents, like, you know, it's that kind of time. She was probably born in, like, the 80s. There was, you know, weird names going on back then, you know? So, yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, with names, with comps coming out, and Hukar's gonna have to take another go at
Uh-oh.
trying to figure out exactly how Heat are playing as Heat, once again, just getting super aggressive, getting to take all of this space. You want Shower's control. You're gonna have to scrap for it. Boombot gonna be invested from Kingyuan, making sure you don't even get the ultimate at the moment. Remoy. Oh, that could
Ooh.
be a nasty
Ooh.
blind side. Waddle's gonna move up forward. Ooh, the flash doesn't connect onto Mishu.
I have no idea where Misha even came from. That was just out of absolutely nowhere. I didn't even see the silhouette as they turned around the corner. Well, 4 players left to deal with for Hukars, managing to get one. I can't believe David got in there. The final player will get straight into the teleporter. Akimbo on 4 HP against 3 players with a classic in hand. Does a bit of damage, not enough to get the kill. Remoy will be able to close things out. It's not the best second round of the world. It's not the worst second round of the world.
Yeah, it's not too costly for Heat. And they can still keep the Bulldog. Waddle's gonna be able to buy up into a Vandal. Hukars, on the other hand, full rifles across the board, full armor across the board. This is the round where they need to start yanking up that tempo and dictating the pacing of this. Otherwise, Heat are, all pun intended, going to be able to run all over them.
Alright then. It is Hukars that are going to be doing the majority of the running for this half. But they're playing it quite slowly. They are walking. In fact, 2 players over towards Showers, 1 player on each short, and then 1 player on B long. An odd little... Oh no. Oh, a bit overcommitted that from Remoy. Why? Moss! Why? David, why would you do that? Why did he shoot it? What's going on? Hukars getting dismantled here on their buy round. The bonus from Heat. Absolutely massive.
Like, we've all been there, right? When the Yoru rework came through and Yorus would pretend to be their decoys.
No. He shot the real Yoru and saw him go back round the corner. He knew that that was a decoy. That's not... You can't pull that, oh, he just got outplayed thing. That was not...
Nah, that was... Yeah,
That was... You know what? We'll just call it trying to get rid of a distraction there. Didn't quite work out for him. Bad timing. Oh well.
Like, you've got to add up your damage numbers.
Yeah, we moved. Oh, there you go. That's some damage numbers. Akimbo just lands a paint grenade directly on Kingyuan. Taking the trade. Akimbo gets 1 more, but Eccles finishes things out, and Heat take a bonus round. It's looking like they're going to close things out quickly.
Yeah, and for Hookahs as well, like the fact that they're playing it very slow and trying to bait out these pushes, it would work on the previous map, but Heat at the moment are more than happy to play slow. The fact that, yeah, that's we're not gonna replay that one, Prod. No 5 times Grindhog Day.
Slow motion shooting the decoy. No, please don't. That's not the kind of. That's not gonna make me make the same noises as the shot from last game. Well, Heat, they have the momentum in their favor already, and Eccles is pushing all the way up here. David, in that smoke. Oh, taking a bit of damage, uses the rendezvous, gets out of that. And Heat will now know, they heard that rendezvous, they know that they did a bit of damage, there's no reason David would get out of that. David, don't do it again, you know now. You know now! Why? Why are you bothering? Why? Okay. You knew. Oh man. Actually, he may not have known at that point. He really might, although his real body is on B and it is doing a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Hookahs can't find a foothold whatsoever.
They're trying to push up B long. Eccles is actually going to be caught out trying to drop that utility. And this guy will be able to pick it out, but Remor still anchoring onto this side is being so hard to dislodge. Monstrum's now being able to move over towards Elbow. The crossfire is set up. If you try and push onto the site, you're going to be running into that blind side. Botline's committed. And it is just to delay Hookahs from being able to move a singular step forward. They can try and take the TP, but Kinyu is just waiting on the other end. Yeah. It's a death trap at either of these doors that Hookahs decides to try to bash open.
Remo is completely ready for a crossfire hit. Oh, it's an unfortunate flash. Self-flash there. His teammate got in the way just a little bit, and that actually kills both of them. Hookahs now have an opportunity to get in, but I don't think it's going to happen. Waddle is ready for whatever comes his way. After brutally getting his teammate killed, manages to clean things up. A little sorry. I'm pretty sure that was him. It was through the edge of a. We might be able to see the replay of that. I'll check. I'm pretty sure Sunshine did not use that flash. We'll see. Hold on. Yeah, no, that was a self flash. Damn. Yeah. Ouch. Oh well, at least he won the round for the team. Yeah,
I love that Kinyu just for the majority of that round is just frothing with anticipation. Outside TP, being like, are they coming? Are they coming? Are they coming? Are they coming? Can I kill them yet? Can I kill them yet? Can I kill them yet?
Please.
It's like wafting a steak in front of a dog. Just look at it go. And Hookahs now gonna be taking a timeout, realizing this is their map pick as well, by the way. This is the one that they needed to turn things around with this composition, and we're yet to really get to see this composition find its wheels, as they've got the agents that they want, they've got the ultimates that they want. Seeker should be able to buy themselves a little bit of time. Tour de Force is going to be able to go toe-to-toe with Rimoy on the Yoru with the operator, but it's the exact same problem as when you're facing a chamber. Gatecrash is not quite as easy to escape with as Rendezvous. It's not quite as instantaneous, and it's also not really as much distance covering as the card trick, but it does still allow an escape, and we've seen that he will put Remo into very aggressive positions that Hookahs struggle to deal with.
Alright, David has his tour de force online. We all know exactly how deadly he is with that. Sunshine manages to get away from the paint grenade just about. All stunned up.
It's more that Hookahs invested the Trailblazer trying to clear showers, and then the fault line came through, just stopping any momentum that they wanted to find. So David's forced to just use the tour de force on short, and they can't clear lamps.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Ultimate brought out. Oh, and Waddle is just watching short there to stop Akimbo from getting through. Saxhal's committed, but it doesn't matter. David does manage to find one with the tour de force as they start to move in. It's a 3v3. This could be the first round in the favor of Hookahs. They still got to do a lot of work to get it done. Sunshine finding the first pick. Eccles there with a trade, but Sunshine is able to keep the team alive there. 2 more players. Dimensional Drift available here for Remoy. He's going to use it. He's going to push his way through. He still has 2 of his flashes available. He's just clearing areas, making sure nobody is in showers. It's a good play, but unfortunately he has checked the wrong area. And now he has to play it by ear, having no idea where these last 2 players are, having to flash pretty much everywhere. Double peek, perfectly played. I mean, that's just unfortunate the Remo didn't check the right place, but I think Hookahs had it under control anyway.
Yeah, and the problem for Remo as well is that it's the catch-22. You either check the wrong angles and don't get the information on where the players are, or the dimensional drift ends and you're stuck with the weapon pull-out delay in the middle of a 1 versus 2.
We've all been there.
As yeah, Yoru still, he's had the rework. We are seeing him pop up more and more, but by far one of the biggest problems with his kit is just the fact that when the ultimate ends, despite being able to use abilities during it, you do have the delay of the activation cancelling and pulling out the gun once more.
Oh, Kinguyen, they didn't see him up there. There is you can see the edge of the body just about from the end there, but nobody did. They move in. Showstopper used, and that will find Mask, but there is the trade with the second Showstopper. I feel like every race, there's a gentleman's agreement. Let's just bring out the... whenever you hear the Showstopper activation, I have to press Q as well. Here we go.
It's the joust.
Yeah, exactly. You have to. Even if you both die. All good. Well, Hukar's getting into this round, and they're still up and in it. Got that momentum on their favor, but here comes Mr. Adam Eccles himself, and he'll come straight in. Sunshine able to get a trade, a nicely timed flash, meaning back to a 3v2. Remote Monstrum to retake it, and Mishu gives Monstrum a taste of his own team's medicine there with that lovely little pick around the corner. Remo now has a lot of work to do once again in a 1v2, same two players as well. Can't find anything, it's just one by one. David and Mishu peeking, making sure he can't find anything. 2 rounds in the favor of Hukas, and now Heat's economy starting to dwindle.
Yeah, unfortunately for Remo, he knows one player's in Cubby, he knows one player's behind Crate, but he doesn't have the blind side to try and separate those fights into 1 versus 1s, and he's just forced to jump out, get a little bit of damage, jump back through. We're going to be seeing the judges come out from Heat now that they know that they have to wait a couple of rounds for their economy to start to recover, and Bind is absolutely one of those where if you don't check your angles, the judge can find a lot of value, and we are seeing Hukas, they are very hesitant, which can allow windows of opportunity for Heat to be able to fire shots off first. As well as the fact that if Hukas try and approach a site with only 30 seconds left, they don't have the time to be able to clear those angles, and the judge will go entirely unnoticed and will very much bite back.
2 judges it is for Heat. They decided this time to half buy into the round and just make sure that they had something moving forward. Oh, Masks has none of the same problems, just making sure. Just make sure. There we go, it dissipates. Masks had no temptation to shoot that one though. Unlike David. David's a little bit trigger happy. It's all good. You know what? It's good for a chamber to be trigger happy, I feel like. That reaction time, you need to keep it in check, I feel like. So, fair enough. All good.
It's a flex. But Twiggy, here's the danger, right? 40 seconds left. Hukas yet to make a move. They've seen 1 Yoru decoy, but other than that, running with no information whatsoever. Yeah. There's going to be an A-site push that they're coming into, so at least they don't have to worry about running into the judge from places like Garden or Showers, but we're almost getting a lot of information, funneling it over to the team. The spike has been heard. Blindside is going to be up and available for the Yoru if you try and push into Lamp's control. Shorty's going to be able to do a lot of damage, and Remo is just waiting to see if you are going to get threatened.
Yeah, luckily he has his teammates to stop anybody from flanking him. David gets out of there, rendezvous straight away. Remo is just going to flash around. The Shorty is not going to be that effective from there, but Eccles has a classic, which is perfect for that distance. Now, the rest of the Hukas team is just holding away from this one. The Rolling Thunder is going to disable a lot of them, and Remo comes through with the bunny hops and the Shorty. Sunshine, David, Akimbo, make sure that Eccles has no chance at defusing the spike, however, the round will draw to a close.
Yeah, and a little bit of a big investment, right, on not so great a buy coming out from Heat in terms of that Rolling Thunder. However, they were looking for picks. They were looking to set Remo up to be able to close up that distance on the players in Cubby and use that Shorty to find those kills. And it worked! He's able to find the pick onto Mask.
Yeah.
And successful eco it is for Heat. 3 players killed, job done.
You can't blame the man if it does work. If it looks stupid and it works, then it's not stupid. That's how...
It's the bunny hops as well, they just ended a little bit over.
Yeah, exactly. Alright, Hukas, they've got a winning formula. They push in, this time they shoot the decoy, and that one was completely understandable. Well, the Aftershock is going to move them well back. A nicely timed teleport, but the orbital strike won't find anything. However, Waddle does take down one head. Sunshine! Oh, I can't believe Sunshine got the kill there. I mean, honestly, if King Gunyan hit any part of the body, Sunshine was down on the ground, but it's a quick headshot. One hit kill. Now 4 players either side, and that kill has actually given Hookahs just a little more chance in the rest of this round. You can see he's still spread 2 and 2 across the map. Doesn't really matter where you go on this one. You're still going to run into the same issues.
Okay, well, Sunshine's been spotted, the Seekers as well, so he are now seeing this commitment from this guy and thinking that players are going to be trying to push up B-long. Already pulling a little bit further away from that A site, Ramo giving up the positioning. It's going to be caught out by Akimbo with a helping, guiding light from their teammate, but Waddle is still stuck in Lamp. David not able to dislodge the breach. Eccles has been able to move into Shower. Should be able to just peek on out. There's the flash, there's the cancel onto the plant. And he will take another round.
And it's one way to make sure you get that one done quickly. It's a lovely flash and just a double peek. Make sure you can catch them all off guard. They don't have any ults available now, Heat, but they will run into a Dimensional Drift very soon. I mean, they're a very kind of a heavy ult team in that they have to build up a lot of ult points, I feel like, just to get ults on the board, so it's understandable. Hookahs, however, still have a bit of economy in the bank. They can still buy up into this round. 1 Bulldog, 4 Masked. However, they will have their tour de force quite soon. They won't be worrying too much about that, and they do have their Viper's Pit, which can come in massively handy. David is going to be caught out this time on B-long once again. And the decoy is going to be sent straight towards Akimbo. It's perfectly played. Remo uses it to full effect to be able to get that kill. Akimbo knew his life flashed before his eyes right as he shot that fake Yoru. Heat look in control now. Waddle is so quick with the headshots once again. Mars is able to find King Gunyan, but it's not enough to get them any kind of foothold in this round, and it is just now Mishu left. You never know. Viper's Pit, 1v4, I've seen it happen.
Not against a Fade, though.
Yeah,
if you have the Horn, if you have the Prowler, yeah, Prowler will go past the Viper's Pit, but if sent into the Viper's Pit, it will still search the player out. As well as if the Horn is put into it, as Mishu is being funneled towards Remo. He's heard the TPQ. Mishu is not even able to get a little bit of economy from the spike plant. It's nice to see, though, that Hookahs Mishu do decide to hold on to the Viper's Pit to use when the team is going to be there, and most likely to also use when Monstrum is out of action. Because for Hookahs, it is definitely one of the round win conditions which can start to turn their economy around and provide them the best chance of being able to look for these picks. However, do you really want to invest a Viper's Pit on a round when most of your players are on Sheriffs and David's running a Shorty?
Let's find it. Come on, David! Akimbo left it and David just went, no. I have my headhunter, I need to shoot it in the head.
Oh,
I Remo's using the opportunity to get all the way around. I don't believe that. I genuinely, I was joking when I said David needs to shoot it because he's, you know, the reaction player. He did not think twice. David just went, mine. I'm getting this kill. Leave it. That's actually allowed Remo to get in all the way behind. Oh my. That tether is perfect, but it doesn't allow them to get a kill. Not quite.
It doesn't allow them to move forward, though. And now the Haunts in place is packed out. The player Monstrum can use the trails to track where they are. And here comes the shooting gallery.
I can't believe that Haunt worked. It didn't make it past the Viper's wall, but it's still lit up 3 players. Oh dear. I think that is really just... that toxin screen is just like, you know, the top of it ripples. I think the top of it rippled just enough that it could see all 3. That is incredibly unfortunate.
Haunt is insane with how much it actually picks up.
It's just high enough off the ground that it can perfectly get over some things, and that is just... That must feel so bad for Hookahs. They must be like, how?
Viper's Pit, they're gonna be kicking themselves, but they've still got the Viper's Pit to be able to push on through.
Oh, ow.
Unfortunately, they don't have Sunshine, as Heat making sure Shower's control is not there. If Hookahs want to push onto the A site, they're not just gonna be able to play from the corner and drop the Viper's Pit as quickly as possible. Heat know the win condition that's available for the attacking team, and they're just denying it as soon as these rounds start.
Ooh, Heat have taken that momentum from the last game and they have used it to full effect already. 7 rounds so far. They're looking straight down the barrel of an 8th. And more than that, they're going to have some nice economy heading into the last round of the half, and Hookahs are not. I would not be surprised to see a 9-3 scoreline at the end of this one. We've seen the quality of Hookahs. They can bring this one back, and especially on that defense. I wouldn't be surprised if they are able to bring some rounds back, but right now Heat are the team in control. And it's only 2 players left on the Hookahs side. They're biding their time, they're waiting as long as they possibly can. All they have is a controller and a sentinel, which are really not great pushing power agents.
Yeah, David wants to shoot out. The Prowl is gonna immediately reveal the position and force the Seas to come on through. The Haunt as well, so they know the Chamber is sticking around. He's just trying to keep this Vandal, trying to pull out one of these players from Heat into a 1 versus 1. Starts to inch away. Echoes is able to be taken out by Masked though. And now they're going to take the TP, keep themselves safe. Mask not quite able to make it in time. But still, a rifle in the hand for David. Can funnel that over to one of your teammates so that you can activate that tour de force. Here's the thing though, Twiggy. We're about to go into side swap. We are yet to see the Viper's Pit activated from Hookahs. This is the last round that they have to potentially use it. And once more for Heat, they can just play bouncer. They can just check your ID and throw you straight out of shorts, straight out of showers, and make sure that the Viper's Pit does not see a light of day.
Yeah, that Viper's Pit has actually been up for, I think, 5 rounds now. We have not seen it played by Mishu so far. It's an impactful ult, especially on Bind. I get that it is definitely more impactful on defense, but it definitely could have been used at least once in this round so far, or in this half, sorry. Mishu will open things up with the Bulldog, however. It's a great start to open things up. Showstopper, they have a lot of ults. They can use all of these to get in. Mishu taken down. No Viper's Pit to be used in this half whatsoever, but Akimbo does get one with the Showstopper. King Guyan up here also has his own available and can just wait for them to push through now. Monstrum playing it slow over there. King Guyan is taken down. No Showstopper to be found here either. Mast finds 2. Monstrum in a 1v4, the last round of the half. And it's just repositioning to try and take them off guard, but this is still a difficult task to take a hold of.
Well, there's no point in saving. You can try to 1 versus 4. The Guiding Light's gonna go past, able to pick out Masked. You can try and use the Haunt to see whether or not they're going to try and trade that out. Seas is going to be coming up to make sure that Heaven is clear. Are you going to be expecting that we're going to be seeing Akimbo just waiting on the right side?
Nice.
Sunshine, but not able to find David. Tour de Force is going to be taking the Fade out of the equation.
Switching sides.
And for Hookahs, it could have been a costly round if they were going into another one, but good news for them, Sideswap has come through. Losing those players to a 1 player still standing is not going to affect their economy moving forward. What is going to affect their economy moving forward to a game, what is extremely important for them to be able to do, is winning pistols in the round after.
Yeah. I mean, they were staring straight down the barrel of a 6-round deficit. Now they have reduced it to a 4-round deficit. Still a high mountain to climb, but at least if you win this pistol round, you bring yourselves back within that kind of area where you can take this. I think, what is the stat for 8-4? I think when I last read it, it was about 25% to win it from 4 rounds in the first half. If you win that pistol round, I think it goes up to 35% or so. So there is a big swing potential on that one. Still not in their favor whatsoever, but they can do it. And I've seen weirder things happen for certain. And if anybody can do it, Hookahs on defense, David being able to anchor on sites, I can't put it past them whatsoever. Let's see how they win this. Oh my god, Mast does not let anybody through that smoke. That sky smoke. Oh, Waddle able to find the first pick, but there are still Hookahs players everywhere, and there's David with the Headhunter. One through the body of another player that also kills Monstrum. Sunshine taking one down with the Frenzy, and it's just Waddle left. The man who opened things up for Heat, and they've made it 1-1, but Sunshine is able to finish things up. They do take away the pistol round, and they will be able to start things off nicely in this half.
Yep, it doesn't matter how many players you lose as long as you win that pistol for Hookahs.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you sprint over the finish line or if it's a little bit of
Crawl.
a tummy ache. A stitch, you know.
Dragged by your
always...
pinky.
Just crawling your way over. Why do we always turn Valorant into a horror movie, Boogie?
Because it's a horror game. I look at the amount of flashes and the amount Euro can turn invisible and just turn up in front of you. How is that not? How is that not a horror game?
True. I have to say, yeah, the prospect of Omen just getting to TP right behind you as well, absolutely terrifying. But
with an ability named like From the Shadows, what are you expecting?
Yeah,
I'm terrified. Every moment that I'm here, mate, adrenaline, just all the way. Oh no, Sunshine. Oh no, Sunshine. He can't find a kill before that pain grenade does enough damage to give Kinguyen the easiest kill of his life, and now David sprays through with the Guardian and finds a pick. I was going to say it was only a matter of time. Incendiary from Mast to try and clear out a player that may have got their way in through here, but Heat do not care whatsoever. They're just walking their way through. Kinguyen leading things up with the Spectre.
I mean, yeah, Incendiary was trying to make sure that people didn't get their way into Elbow, but Kinguyen is actually going to be popping up in just a matter of moments to try and, well, not pinch in, thinks better of going with a solo mission through screens. Does still have the Spectre, 1 versus 3. Stuck in Tube at the moment. Painshell's gonna come out, trying to bait out these players, sees that it's a little bit safer. He's able to get the spike planted into the ground and can now just spray and pull a little bit further away. Spotted out, dipped to 35 HP, has to pull back into Elbow to separate into the 1 versus 1s, but Akimbo's able to take them out. And Hookahs get a nice, easy defuse to come through with plenty of time to spare.
Well, that is all you can ask for on that one, and having 3 players alive to end out that second round is, you know, that's what I think that's what I consider the average kind of round there. It's not amazing, it's not bad whatsoever. Heat will be happy with their performance, but Who will also be very happy with their performance. I saw somebody in chat calling them the World Health Organization. That was brilliant. The World Health Organization now bringing it to 2 rounds back from Heat. And this is it's great that I'm sorry, wait, a World Health Organization and one of them is called Masked. I'm sorry, that is genuinely perfect. Oh, David gets away from his friend with his rendezvous.
Look, public health announcements, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
We've had so many today. Just you know, look before you cross the street.
Yeah. Wear your mask.
We've got it covered. Heat now gonna be trying to move forward. He's making sure to just clear Garden. But David once again with the Guardian, exact same angle to Sunshine going to be set up. So when they push through the toxin screen as expected, but still able to pick up 1. David's still alive. TP's out with the rendezvous as Terra tethered. And unfortunately that does not break with the TP.
Wow.
But has been able to reposition with the Guardian. Eccles has the spike at least. They can still try to move into the B site. And White's going to have a blind side as well to try and flash the entrance, but David has pulled back. 27 HP to the Chambers, just playing very patiently. Blindside expended. And we're making sure that Elbow is nice and clear so that Eccles can start to move forward and get the spike into position.
Well, Hookahs couldn't have asked for a better start to the round. Remoy takes out David and makes it even for these guys. It's going to be difficult, but Akimbo is so good with that Spectre and Masked. Gets that pick, and now, as I said, Hookahs might be a little more strong on the defense, and they've shown it. They've won their bonus, and they've brought that deficit to 1 round. This is massive. This really could be a comeback.
We're getting to see the toxin screen being used as well to allow Hookahs all of that control over verticality, right? Because what Heat are running, it's very unexpected, but also the Razor's meta, it's not the Jet. You don't have the Cloud Bursts, so when they do push onto that B site through the toxin screen, unless it's off of a fault line or blindsides to come on out, it can be very easy for David to just be able to hold that same angle we've now seen twice in a row, anchor onto the B site, wait for toxin screen to make sure that you don't have hits returned to yourself, getting to know where your position is, see the elbow or the head emerge first, be able to react, and then TP out. And let Sunshine just pick up the fallout as he try and move forward and trade out any picks that come through.
You can see the loadout value for yourselves. Hookahs, they're on the buy. Heat are not, and David doesn't even have to buy a rifle. They can save up a little more economy there. He has a Tour de Force fully available. They also have an Orbital Strike. Only Dimensional Drift available. They probably will get the Showstopper up this round as well, but everybody's going to their ults at the same time here for Heat, which is generally not what you want. It sounds great, having all 5 ults at the same time, but generally what you want to do is cycle through your ults and make sure that you have a way to gain advantage in every single round. Just kind of give yourself a bit more of an upper hand. They can't do that as it stands, but they can probably make it happen. It's just a mild inconvenience for them.
Well, you say mild inconvenience for them, but for an observer, it's an absolute nightmare when you have one team just using all 5 of their ults in one round. But
and guarantee a round.
Well, I can't always guarantee a round either, especially when you look at the loadout that Heat are going to be coming in with on this buy. Like, I would expect maybe we get to see the Dimensional Drift to sniff out Hookah's position, especially with the Tour de Force being in play. You don't want to cross into that without really knowing why you want to expend that utility. The fault line can be massive at displacing the chamber, but we've already seen that David hasn't really been punished when the side swap comes on out. The Orbital Strike as well, you can't cluster up. There are now spaces of the map that you have to consider just barred out entirely until that Brimstone falls. Lamps being one of them, Hookah being another. Really key incremental parts that you need to have under your control to make your attack, your entrances onto these sites a lot cleaner, a lot more survivable.
Well, can't say I was ever inclined to say either of these teams had communication issues before now, but one of the teams having a bit of difficulty connecting to TeamSpeak, it looks like, so we're going to go into a little technical pause. I'm quite proud of that, actually. Can we just make note of that? Was actually quite a nice little segue into that. Anyway, yeah, no, I mean, they're in a good place for the coming rounds. I mean, they gave themselves such a nice kind of like work ahead in that first half that this is bad. Obviously, they don't want to be losing these rounds, but at the very least, it's workable. They can come back into this 8-8. They'll have the money to buy up into the next round, and you're basically just playing from 0-0 again. So yeah, Remo probably will use that Dimensional Drift this round to just give themselves some information and try and get a few kills. Because so far, Hookahs, yes, they have the economy that they can buy into the next round, if they lose, that is. But, you know, taking away a couple rifles just makes things more difficult for them as the game goes on.
Ooh. Yeah, I'm expecting full Dimensional Drift now. Remo's brought into a judge.
I mean,
You're going to use that invisibility, close up the distance, empty the judge into a head. Relay the information that you find to the rest of your team. Very sort of base Yahoo use of that ultimate, but still extremely dangerous, especially opening up with that decoy. Going in, trying to see whether or not Hookahs are going to shoot it out. There's the gate crash to make Remo's entrance into Lamps that little bit more streamlined. Still yet to see the mask being pulled out.
Well, not yet. Move around. I mean, I don't really want to go one by one here into who. Kimbo manages to take down Monstrum, Mast onto Eccles, Mishu onto Waddle. They're all getting involved now. Last two players are two players with shotguns. In comes the paint grenade to compound their problems a little more. They're all stuck in here. I mean, the diffuser's just going to come through. There's nothing these guys can do whatsoever apart from go for exit frags, but you can't really go for exit frags against the defense. Hey, they got one. David is down. He didn't buy a weapon though, so you didn't do any economical damage. So.
Yeah, that's why it was the Chamber's job to clear Lamps at the end. And for Heat, because they weren't able to do that economic damage that they were looking for, they haven't been able to stop David from buying up into the operator, and now that Toxin Screen becomes that little bit more potent. Right, the fact that it's not only going to try and disguise the Chamber's position, but it's also going to be able to buy the time for that reload, the very punishing thing about the operator having the longest reload in game, to be safe when it needs to reposition.
Kimbo gets a lot of utility thrown back at him. He's going to have to back all the way out of there, which does give Heat control of showers. It can be drowned out. The heat can be lowered by the shower. Or maybe you can have a hot shower. You want a hot shower or a cold shower? They like a hot shower. They're Heat. David, watching a short. I like how he didn't even try and
Who's next?
No laugh, nothing like that. You always make me
Cams
feel very
didn't
bad
pick
about
it
my
up.
bad jokes. All good.
I mean, I shook the head. What will...
There you
will
go,
confirm
okay.
That was a
Good,
head
good.
shake.
Remoi's get him right in their face. Just intimidate them a little. Get back into your own spawn. Goodbye, goodbye. Mars finds one with the orbital strike. I'm not sure how Waddle got stuck in there. The rest of the players have to fight their way out of lamps now. Face your fears. I mean, Hookahs don't really care. They don't have any fears. In they walk. Only Eccles left. 4v1. And there's not really any way to get in. There's nothing you can do. He doesn't have the incendiary to try and get a lineup on the spike here. He's just going to run away from this one and try and save that Phantom.
Yeah. I don't think Hookahs are gonna let the Brimstone, but no. They're gonna get the defuse, they're gonna decide that, okay, it's more important to keep the operator and rifles of their own intact. As they do know, despite being able to come away with these rounds, it was a comeback that they had to make. They want to make sure that their economy stays as flush with the cash as possible. And that is going to be a big win condition for them, because even though we've moved maps, it's still the same deal with the chamber. Keep the operator for as many rounds as you possibly can. And now that Heat don't have these really heavy hitting ultimates like the Dimensional Drift or the Nightfall, they're going to have to rely on things like the Rolling Thunder to clear the site, something that you want to use with the information to know that you didn't expend your best bet at entering onto a site and stunning up those players, only to stun the space where no one is standing, taking a step forward and getting mown down by a crossfire in another angle.
This really has been a game of two halves, and so far Heat are feeling the heat, are staying back, and you can see how much respect they're giving Hookahs now that they've managed to just pick up this many rounds in a row. That's 5 for Hookahs in a row. And even though somehow, you know, nothing has happened in this round yet, you do get the feeling Hookahs feel in control. They feel like they're going to win this round, even though they haven't done any damage whatsoever yet. You just you get that inherent feeling, and David is watching this. Kingian knows that he can't peek around this corner without getting fired upon, and he just hits his shot. Oh dear.
Yeah, and the worst thing is the rendezvous comes through after, so now you can't even track the chamber's position, which is why Monstrum is still being extremely cautious to try and poke into that space. Gonna go back to the Guardian and just start to slowly move back with the rest of the team, making sure that they're not gonna get stabbed in the back before they push in. 20 seconds left on the clock, and we have a very long lurk coming from Eccles. It does seem like it's just gonna be trying to save these weapons. They know their economy has got to start to recover if they want to be able to deal with these early points of aggression. The operator is a problem that they have fallen into time and time again, and they need to keep their economy as clear as possible.
Ow.
And Masked is still going to be able to pick out Waddle. Monstrum, on the other hand, is able to find the breach, but for Hookahs losing a gun, there's very little sweat off of their back. For Heat, it's the furnace being turned on.
And they didn't just lose a weapon, they had 3 weapons. And 2 of them were full-on rifles. One of them was a Guardian. They lost one of the rifles.
Yeah.
Ouch. Goodbye. That's a lot of value lost very quickly, and Heat are going to use their second half timeout. Quite understandably, this is really starting to look at, you know, the base of a mountain. You have a long way to climb, even though it's only a 2-round deficit. Their economy is not looking good. Hookahs' economy is looking good no matter what happens for the next couple rounds now. They have ults being rotated perfectly, I would say. Mishu has one ready. Sunshine will have one ready this round as well. David and Akimbo will have theirs ready in the next 2 rounds. Mas will have his ready in the next 3 rounds, and then you'll be back to Mishu getting theirs back. So they're pretty happy with that one, and it seems like Heat, similarly, not quite having as much luck with the cycling of their ultimates. Obviously, generally you don't, this isn't as big a deal as I'm making it out to be. You don't consciously go, oh, we need to cycle our ults now. It's not like other games where, you know, that kind of thing is incredibly important. This is more like, you know, it's a kind of, it's on the sidelines, but it really does make a bit of an impact in the game.
Well, this is important. The timeout has come through. They needed to try and go for the site where the Viper wasn't playing, so they didn't get funneled to the other half. Their plans disrobed by that Viper's pit coming through very early on. It's gonna be a showstopper coming out from King Yuan. Just clearing showers, getting a lot of information. No one's playing on vertical. No one's going to be playing on backside either, but they haven't been able to clear heaven, and Mask is still sitting in the back of the site.
Nice. Wow. And that's the Incendiary and the Blast Pack right next to each other, managing to take down the Spike planter. They did not get it on the ground. It was milliseconds away from being planted, but Hookahs deny that. And now they can just stop them from getting anywhere near the site. The Spike moves further away from the plant zone. Heat need to fight their way through here. They're all stuck in different places. You don't get the idea. Mask just takes off another head. 2 players left. Eccles with 65 HP. King Yuan with a Spectre. But the Spike is in full Hookah's control now.
And unfortunately for Heat as well, they have to break into lamps.
30 seconds left.
And that can be very hard to do. There is still one satchel pack available for King Yuan, which he can throw into the direction of lamps to try and zone a player out. But the second that you do make any movement up short, Mishu is just gonna be there with the Vandal ready to take your head off, and Heat once again making the decision trying to keep Eccles so far back. King Yuan's gonna be playing bodyguard to the brim. If you want to try and grab up that Phantom, this time you've got to get past the Raze first.
Man, that is painful as well, because King Yuan, he saves some armor. That's about it. Eccles, he saves a Phantom. That's about it. They both miss out on ult points from that round. And they both needed them. Yeah, there's some possibility that they get into another ult before the end of the game. That has made it much more unlikely, and it also just means that, you know, now Eccles can buy some armor, but King Yuan didn't really get anything out of that round. Was kind of just forced to save so that he can stay in like the kind of economical area of the rest of his team. That's about it.
You know, we're back into ult chicken too. Why is it with Viper's Pit? We're always in that situation of ult chicken. Normally it's the Hunter's Fury. This time it's that Rolling Thunder that Waddle's trying to save to counteract it. For one, Mishu does drop it. So that Heat can push into the space that Hookahs are trying to cordon off, but Hookahs are just not batting an eye. They're waiting for Heat to initiate, holding onto that Viper's Pit to use it as a threat. And it's meaning that Heat can't throw in that Rolling Thunder to try and blitz their way onto one of these sites to try and push David out of using this operator. There it is, the Rolling Thunder going to be coming through. It does catch David out of the way, manages to drop the rendezvous. Just in time, however, it's still taken out of the picture. Wasn't able to get the card quite as far as the chamber was.
Oh my! Sunshine has no problems. The smoke here, don't care. Okay, I'll do my job.
Scout destroyed.
You don't need anything more than that. I have a gun. I'm going to shoot heads. Now, Hookah's back to a 1-player advantage. 1 in Hookah, 1 on site. And Mask just finishes him off. Hookah's within 1 round now of winning the game, and things not looking good for Heat economically coming into the last round.
Yeah, and ultimates as well. Hookahs, remember, they'll still have that Viper's Pit. And now we just saw the Rolling Thunder being invested to try and dislodge an operator that David's gonna be able to buy up into. In this round once more, Mishu can, at the start of these rounds, without having to worry about that breach ultimate, drop the Viper's Pit. Eccles isn't going to have an orbital strike to push through. The showstopper isn't going to be up for King Yuan, remember. That round previous where we talked about those ult orbs being extremely impactful, the fact that they weren't able to pick up the orbs, that they weren't able to get the kills, is they don't have a counter for the Viper's Pit. Mishu can drop it very early on and funnel them towards where this operator is going to be sat.
Nice. Oh, Mishu was fully blind and just kills the freshly dimensional drifted Yoru. Oh, David finds King Yuan through the wall. Sunshine making things even worse for Heat. Waddle managing to gain back some control, wrest it from their hands, but Mask will finish things out, and it's a 13-8 map for Hookahs to make it 1-1 in the series. The reverse sweep is on.
Yeah, we are going to be headed off to Breeze. This was something that we were a little bit iffy on at the start of this series, right, Twiggy? That it was able to make it past map picks and bans. It was where we got to see Monstrum pull out that fade the first time up against Kova. But looking at Hookah's performance over on Bind and the fact that a lot of it hinged on Viper on the Toxin screen and allowing David a lot of freedom, a lot of movement, that same strategy, well, yes, it's going to be a different map, different positions, you can still pull off the same synergy, the same cycle of those utilities.
Yeah.
On Breeze, and it's something that he just were not able to deal with.
Yeah, this is really, I mean, both teams finding their stride in different maps, and it really does feel like as soon as one of these teams got confident and got that kind of rhythm going, it seemed like they just ran away with things, and I am now scared of Hookahs on defense. I think that is what it comes down to at this point. Hookahs are just a brilliant defense team. You know, they seem to know exactly how each other play. They seem to be able to cycle off each other perfectly. Heat not quite gaining the same amount of momentum on their offense as they did in the first round, and Hookahs just managing to run away with things in a completely unprecedented way. A flawless second half. You really can't put it any other way than that. They just completely did all the work there, and you can see exactly how that works here. No team, look, this is the thing, no player in the whole lobby got a 2 KDA or more. We didn't see an ACS over 237, so nothing exactly there was no standout player here, and that's the thing. Both teams just worked well with each other.
Playing off of each other, getting to trust that everyone else has your back, but David was one of those really big set pieces that Hookahs were able to prop up and provide a lot for, and I think the fact that we saw Heat falling prey to the operator as the rounds continue to spin on, especially the fact that when you have that amount of flashes, right, you have the breach, you have the Yoru, you will have the blind sides, the flashpoints, even a fault line if you want to try and throw that one down early to try and dislodge a chamber. Of course, I'd have rendezvous a little bit too quickly for the chamber's tastes. We didn't really see it. Instead, it was just those jump peaks, the elbow little jiggles coming out from King Yuan to try and discern where that chamber was playing, and time again we saw that David would see that little bit of movement, wait, know a player was pushing, not give away that position, and then line the shot up when the body came into view.
Yeah, I mean, despite the little bit of jittery that I made fun of him for that first half, shooting the Euro a few times, he definitely made up for it in that second half, and that really is just the power of David and the rest of the whole of Hookahs on defense. We'll see if they can bring that same defensive power into Breeze, our final remaining map, see if they can get that reverse sweep, or if he can make sure that Hookahs don't keep their flawless streak going in the group stage so far. Join us in just a little bit. We're going to head to a quick break. Don't go anywhere.
My name is Mast, I'm the IGL for Hookahs.
My name is Davut, I play for Hookahs and I'm the duelist / introfragger.
Our performance in Split 1 wasn't the best. We definitely learned a lot, and we're gonna take that experience with us and hopefully get our revenge on all the teams.
I think we played well, but we didn't perform as good as we should have, and we lost some games we shouldn't, and played closer in matches we won, like the H2 one for example. But like overall, I think it went okay, but it didn't go the way we wanted it to go, so definitely things to improve on.
Well, the stuff that we changed is we changed a player on our team. We changed Yalo to Sunshine, which has helped our team a lot. It's a greater fit, and the synergy is there, and everyone just has a good time. We also improved a lot on strats, and just the fundamentals of our gameplay has changed a lot.
We tried to go back to the basics, like try stuff, like swap around roles and stuff like that, and see like if we had better fits that could like play the different roles. So like just going back to the basics and struts.
Sunshine brings like strats, he's really wise, and he frags out, so he brings a lot to the table in the team. Our goals for split 2 is just to get revenge on all the teams. Last split was not the greatest, and we're definitely here to win, but first of all, we want our revenge.
I would say get to playoffs. That's my personal goal, and probably also the one for the team.
The team we're looking to get revenge against is Human Tripwires. That was not fun losing to, so I'm definitely looking to get my revenge against them.
Probably Human Tripwires because we used to play with Ratsky before, so like I think that would be the one.
The players to look out on the team is just everyone. I think we all are mechanical gifted.
Everyone on the team is very mechanically gifted and very like wise, in-game wise, and like game sense and stuff. Everyone has their roles and does them very well.
We're clever and we're gonna play a lot together, so just look for the team and you'll definitely see some highlights.